wrong. The Eric Zane Show podcast is now. Thank you for being here. What the? That's weird. Like, what is going on? The thing that I used to bash, the Zenith, which was below me, is now that way. I should have asked for a new Zenith for Christmas. That critical piece of equipment, which amplifies the microphone sound and does nice things to the voice. I kicked the thing like a day after I got it 2 years ago and did some type of damage to it. I don't know what the hell is going on with that thing. So every now and then I have to bash it like old school Zenith TV back in the day. And then somehow it works. Oh. I tell you right now, if one of the old engineers at the radio stations that I used to work at knew that that's what I had to do, oh my God, they would kick my ass. We had this guy at Cumulus. He's actually, I really like him. His name is Dave Grant. And it was Grant, there's this exact same piece of equipment. And radio guys have a tendency to think that their microphone doesn't sound right. So they'll go to that piece of equipment and like twist the knobs. And they have no idea what they're turning and twisting. Me included. And man, if he found out that you fucked with the processing, son of a bitch, that is a bad, bad place to be. So a lot of the times they'll go and they'll get these covers that go over it and they screw on so that the knobs can't be touched. You could just take the thing off if you wanted to, if you really wanted to get after it. But most radio people are like, fuck it. I'm not doing that. Because you have to drag your ass into engineering, open up this drawer with screwdrivers. And then there's cameras in there. The engineers have cameras in there in case you do this, because they will find out and kick your ass. There was one moment in time. It was Ben Glaze and EZ on the radio on Cumulus. And Ben's computer that he used, for some reason, he wasn't happy with it. So he goes, hey, I think I'm going to go switch this computer with that computer in the other room. Now, Ben and I, it was like on, we thought that it wasn't even in use or doing anything, this computer. We had no clue. And so I encouraged him. I go, yeah, do it. So Ben goes, unhooks his computer's big tower, drags it out of the studio, puts it in the place where the other one is, and takes the other one and brings it back in, hooks it, and goes, everything's great now. It's working fine. Within like 2 minutes, somebody from the radio station realized that there was something wrong because that was the computer that supposedly would, I guess, published traffic reports like, hey, there's a slowdown on US 131, would then get filtered through that computer and somehow wind up, I don't know, with some weirdo thing. It doesn't matter. The point is, it was revealed 1 minute after he stole the computer that it wasn't there. And people are like, hey, where's traffic? I don't know. What the fuck? So they start sniffing around, and sure enough, they figure out. And Ben didn't even hook up the old computer there. It just kind of set it there. And then they track it down. And Dave Grant figures out what's going on. And he goes, Ben, can I see you? And he takes Ben into a room and closes the door. And there's another room in that room. They go into that room and closes that door. And I could still hear him yelling. I was like, oh, no. And I'm guilty by association. So after, time passes, I approach Grant, and he's so damn pissed off about this. You do not screw with anything engineer. Never. You always, you just don't do it. So after the dust settles, I said to Grant, I go, hey, I owe you lunch. Let me take you out to lunch. He goes, okay. And I go, you even choose where we're going. And that bastard, we walked past every restaurant in Grand Rapids and went into the swankiest hotel called the Amway Grand. And there's a Wolfgang Puck in there. And he sits down. There's like a maitre d', and he tucks in his fucking cloth napkin like the Blues Brothers, and he orders like everything on the menu. The meal cost me like $350. Like, you fucker. Oh my God. Time passes. He leaves the radio station. And Lori was working there, so she drove everybody out. Grant goes down to Texas to work at a radio station in Texas. Same company, Cumulus. And then after time passes, he comes back to Cumulus. He's back there right now. God, I miss that guy. He is such a curmudgeon. Curmudgeon? Whatever. Radio stories. I love radio stories. Some of the most fucked up shit ever. There's an engineer at iHeart, where I work right now. His name is Rich Bass. And I think he may even supplant Grant as my all-time favorite engineer. This dude knows everything there is to know, but he's cool. He's not like hardwired idiot like Dave is. I say that with affection. Dave's just such a hard ass. Jesus, fuck. My God. Speaking of radio, Ben and I had a hell of a time reviewing the world-famous Free Beer and Hot Wings show yesterday on Who Are These Free Beers. Lots of material to discuss. We went almost 1 hour and still didn't have enough time. We did that, and then we busted out the Ben and Eric Patreon podcast, which featured highlights from Ben's radio show, which he's doing right now. And he might even be like listening to this while he's producing the radio show that he's involved with. Speaking of radio again, I am on the radio today. I actually have been. Let's see, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. No, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Monday. On Big 101.3, The Fun Hits You Know. 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. The boss, Dave, reaches out to me and he says, hey, can you fill in for Allie on Big 101.3? And I go, hell yeah, I can. She's off jet setting, doing something fantastic. Who knows? Now, look, we've talked many times. It's voice tracked. You simply push a button. You hear the last 5 seconds of Neil Diamond, Cherry Cherry. You say, Big 101.3, The Fun Hits You Know. The greatest songs ever recorded. Eric Zane in for Allie Mack. Don't worry, it's temporary. She'll be back on Tuesday. Here's the Monkees. And that's it. And then I hit the button. You hear Daydream Believer. And then that's it. You move on. You go to the next one. You can do like tremendous amount of voice tracking in a short amount of time. It's both excellent and terrible for the business. The second someone invented voice tracking, that was the beginning of the end of radio. And I say that with no hyperbole. As soon as the Telecommunications Act was signed in 1996 so that investors could own packs of radio stations in each market. Then they started to figure out that they could automate, that they could voice track and save money. Prior to that, you could own one FM station and one AM station. It made it so that you couldn't have a monopoly. Now there is. And whoever signed that bill, agreed to pass that bill, didn't even read it. So now, as soon as all these radio companies own all these radio stations, the first thing they do is start to cut. And it's been cutting ever since then. The second you started to be able to voice track and automate, now, first of all, the jobs dwindle like crazy. And then the minor leagues is done. And when the minor leagues are done, what I mean by that is the overnight. When, you get a young radio chick or a guy who might be really green but have some ability and thoughts about how to do a radio show. You throw them on overnight on the weekend so that they can be terrible and figure it out. And then that allows them to get better and better and better and better. And then you can incorporate them into different aspects of the radio station over time. Nowadays, you don't even have that. Nowadays, you'll have radio stations that actually don't have employees. I can, from this room right here, hit a button and voice track every radio station in the iHeart cluster with just that, a push of a button. Because they have that capability, and they kind of want that because, and I can understand why. You pay somebody a $12 an hour to voice track afternoons in New York City. It's fucking remarkable. So that is both excellent because you can do this, but terrible because there's nobody at the radio stations anymore. The halls are empty. Very, very sad, in my opinion. Now, I've talked about this earlier this week about the cost of running a radio station. It's astronomical just to pay for the electric bill, let alone staff, insurance, parking passes, all that stuff. It is licenses. Oh, my God. It is, it's remarkable. And so there's nobody in the buildings. And I think they're going to get to a point, and I said this before, they've already started where they're selling off radio stations. These giant companies are like, all right, we owe $90 billion in debt. Let's sell off all these radio stations and pay some of this debt down. My God. Joe Martinez says it's called progress. Yeah, in a way. I mean, it's kind of like they've antiquated their own medium. At the same time, you've got a vast amount of options now for people to create and consume. Patrick says Bill Clinton personally attacked the Toon Man, and out of that, Big Fraud Zane was born. At the end of the day, though, I still love radio. And the thing I find most interesting about radio is that even though now a lot less people are listening, you never know who's paying attention. You never know who's actually got the radio on. And it's kind of like that with podcasting. I mean, I don't know who's listening or anything like that, unless if it's people on the live chat. I see you there. But, oops, damn it. It's just kind of like a mystery, if you will. We are recovering from a dog weird sleep thing last night. Nothing major. Didn't have any of the dogs take a dump or puke in the bed, thank God. But I woke up with a paw actually on my mouth and nose. What the fuck? And it was, and then snoring. Darla actually right next to my head. And you know how husband and wife sleep head to toe on the bed? Well, so do the dogs. So it isn't like they curl up at your feet. No, they sleep like people. So you got Darla right next to me, and right next to her, Bruce. He's right next to Diana. So you got Eric and Diana on the ends with no space, and then Darla and Bruce in the middle, completely sprawled out. Numerous times throughout the night, I feel dog claws going into my back because she's situating and she stretches her legs out and they just go right into my back. There's no way I can sleep without a T-shirt on. The T-shirt kind of subdues some of the sensation of claws going into your back to some degree. So it only wakes you up 90% of the time. She thinks it's fantastic. Jesus. And, you know, I know some of you who do not have dogs are like, why do you do this? Why do you do this? Okay. You don't understand unless you're just a total dog person. I don't know why it is, but I'm not comfortable if those dogs are not in the bed with me, like under the covers, on the pillow, there. We sleep in a dog bed. It's a little gross, admittedly. Like, I always go back to this. If Diana ended up going to the Rainbow Bridge, you know, hopefully not ever, I'm still going to sleep with the dogs. So if there's ever a woman who wants to be my wife after that, they're going to have to wholeheartedly accept that. And no one in their right mind would do that. We have a great friend of ours named Sherry, who we all often jokingly say, you're my wife backup. And she laughs and it's so cute, you know. And I said to her, I go, but seriously, you are my wife backup and you have to sleep with dogs. She says, well, then I'm not your wife backup. I go, holy shit. Linda says, I was sandwiched between two cats most of the night. And then she says, I hope you use flea meds on them regularly. Absolutely. Heartworm and flea meds. You know, the pills. But, and then there's frickin' O'Neill. I cannot believe it took me 1 year to finally figure out to use that dog tracker on his collar around here. I bought that damn thing for up north. And then it doesn't work because there's no cell coverage up there. So that's a pain in the ass. However, it works fine here. And him constantly escaping. I was like, well, Jesus, why am I've got the answer right here. Just keep the collar on him. And I think one of you might have suggested that. You know, it's never my idea. I can't tell you how satisfying it is when I realize he's gone. He should be like in that fenced-in area, and then he escapes all the time. I realize that he's gone, and then I'm like, oh, fuck yes. It's like a real-life Pokemon Go. Pokemon. Is that what I'm supposed to say, Pokemon? That's what Kenny taught me to say, Pokemon. And sure enough, I open up the map, and his little face is, you can upload his picture. His little face is moving in the neighbor's yard. I can see it. And it's real time, and it's perfect. So I just take a walk, and I go over this hill, and I make a right and a left, and I go behind this guy's house, and I look, and there he is, looking right at me. I go, O'Neill. And he's like, oh, fuck. How come you're getting good at catching me? Oh, shit. Oh, fuck. Oh, no. I go, let's go. Get home. And he's like, God damn it. He's figured this shit out. Stevie just loves O'Neill, and his face is not in the camera, so I better get that in there for her. Anyway, that's where we are right now. After a fun day of podcasting yesterday, back again right now with plenty going on. It is a long weekend of sports. So you got the Griffins tonight. I'll be there. Awesome. You got the Grand Rapids Gold Saturday. Wait a minute. Is that right? Yeah, Saturday and then Sunday. More on that in a bit. But thank you to everyone who's enjoying the show on Facebook, X, and YouTube. It's time to go, though. I'll give you a few minutes of it right now. The rest of it is available on Twitch. if download the Twitch app and search Eric Zane Live, you get this show in its entirety. While you're at it, follow the page, subscribe, and off you go. There is a Patreon. I do a Patreon bonus podcast every day, and there's a ton of other content, including Who Are These Free Beers? And you can try it out for free at patreon.com/Eric Zane. This show that I'm doing right now, the audio is available wherever you download podcasts shortly after I get done. You can download the audio podcast on Apple Podcasts or whatever platform you prefer. If you want to say hello, send me an email, eric@ericzaneshow.com on the Shoreliners Striping inbox. Have a great day.